The Bean One posted this story to r/Sarby from r/best of Redditor updates. Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my kid's name despite it sounding like a slur to my mother-in-law? Originally posted to r/am I the a-hole on April 18th, 2026. Damn, this shit's fresh. This started a few weeks ago, but I'd never used Reddit before and wasn't sure how to do one of these. For context, I'm mixed race, white and Middle Eastern from my mom. In parentheses, my mom had been Hebrew, but changed denominations after moving to America and meeting my dad. My husband and his mom are African American. I, 32 female, have recently had my first baby. I'd given up on love when I met John, 40 male, a year, next week. Oh! So to clarify, they met. They didn't start dating. They met a year next week. And OP recently had their, oh no. What started as a one-night stand, then following encounters, turned into a shotgun wedding. But we weren't upset about this. John hadn't had many girlfriends before, and he claims he was happy to settle down. I had much the same feelings. Okay. I mean, like, listen, I don't know. I think when you're like getting older, maybe I don't know, maybe there's an argument that you have to take that risk, but like, y'all didn't have to shotgun wedding it. We got married in August and I met his mother 2 days before our courthouse wedding / yard party. All right, I'm sorry. Now that it's put in that context, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's crazy. 2 days before you're getting married, you're meeting the mother-in-law. I'm so sorry. Like, based off of the Reddit stories that we've read, you have to be able to suss out your partner's relationship with their parents and whether or not that will positively or negatively affect your relationship way before you get married to them. Like 2 days before, and you're just getting exposed to it. She was honestly one of the most amazing people I'd ever met. Okay. I never had a mother of my own, really, and she was everything I'd ever wanted. She planned my baby shower, surprised me with a birthday party, and so much more during the pregnancy. Okay. Not a bad first impression. I went into labor a week early in mid-March. She and the rest of the family stayed away and let us update to them on our time. My beautiful baby girl was born on March 19th at 2:19 a.m. This is where the issue starts. That same day around lunch, we let John's mom and stepdad come visit. We'd had several names picked out, some of which mother-in-law helped me choose. However, I looked into my daughter's eyes and knew her name. Context. My mom's name was Nessa. She had been a wonderful lady I'd never been able to meet. So I chose Nissa instead, said like Nis-uh. Wow. Okay, wait. That reveal is not as bad as I thought it would be. That's a pretty common name, right, chat? Nissa is not... I feel like that's a stretch. Like, I know, obviously, I'm not stupid. I know what word or what slur this story is referring to now. But I feel like Nissa, number one, I think is a great name. Number two, I don't think it's like anything you should get worked up on. I have a friend named Nissan. I don't know how to explain this, but your friend's dad named that kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to name you after the first car I bought, Nissan. Sorry. My mother-in-law, oh, sorry, I gotta switch screens. Oopsies. My mother-in-law said nothing at first. She took photos, hugged my husband, was going on about how pretty our daughter was, but never said anything to me. I'd not noticed at the time. I'd been exhausted and out of it, and they'd left soon after. My husband said something to his mom about it after they left. Wait. My husband said something to his mom about it after they left over text, and my mother-in-law went off about the dirty, slur-like name I chose and said I was disrespectful and racist for not asking her first. What? My husband waited until we were home to tell me about this and asked if this was a hill we were willing to die on. I was shocked. He loved the name when I brought it up. He says his mom is right, and it's 2 letters off from being the exact word. Okay, so you love the name, but then when mommy has an issue with it, which, by the way, that's crazy. That, like, similar to what we were just talking about people getting upset whenever I call someone a virgin. I think this is exactly the same thing where it's like this woman is actively choosing to be upset by a name that, yes, I guess is 2 letters off, but that's not the point of the name. The point of the name is to be named after OP's mother, right? Yeah. In a similar but not the exact same way. And like, it's just them taking that and then getting offended by it because they can find a way to get offended by it. Yeah, like the mother-in-law is looking for a reason to be mad. That's how I feel too, bro. Yeah, you guys are also saying it. I think that husband's reaction's a red flag. Like, I'm sorry if I like the name and then my mom comes to me and is like, I think she made this name because it sounds like a slur against our people. I would be like, hey, dog, you're here. You got to take it here because what the fuck are you talking about? I think that uh-oh, maybe that shotgun marriage wasn't a good idea, girl. He says his mom is right and it's 2 letters off from being the exact word, only it's not the word. He slept on the couch. I hoped over the last few weeks she would get over it along with him. He eventually conceded it was a dumb request and stood his ground to his mom. All right, I mean, he should have done that right off the rip, but better late than never. She came over the next day while he was at work and told me either I'd change it or she'd tell my husband our baby isn't his. So that's when you whip out your phone, start recording the conversation, and or immediately text your husband and be like, your mom just fucking said this to me. I ended up crying and she left, but I texted my husband and her in a group chat after and told them there's no way in hell I'm renaming my 3-week-old baby and told my husband what she said. Of course, she denied it. It started another fight with my husband and he hasn't slept in the bed for a week now. He keeps telling me I'm being overly sensitive over a name and that I never even knew my mom, so it doesn't matter. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got to dial back because what did he say about her saying that crazy shit to you about saying the baby isn't his? What did homeboy do about that? Because like even without that answer, calling you overly sensitive over the name named after your mom and that it shouldn't matter because you barely knew them is fucking insane. Oh, I mean, like, bro, you could have stayed. You could have been like, I want to bang my head on the desk right now because I'm like, girl, you didn't have to get married to this guy. Like, why the wedding? Like, y'all could have just had the baby, continued your relationship, sussed it out, not gotten legally tied to the person, and made it now more complicated and more messy if you guys did end up not being together. Like, you could. Don't get married for the baby. Oh, this is a disaster. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to name my baby because my mother-in-law thinks it sounds like a slur? Is it? Is it worth fighting for a name when I can just pick another because she's not even that old? I feel backed into a corner and starting to feel like my husband is right and to give in to his mom. He keeps telling me he thinks the name is wonderful and beautiful, but not worth the drama. Maybe this is how moms are. Okay, so how is he saying this shit, but then also this shit? Maybe this is how moms are. No, they're not. I promise you, no normal mother should have this. Should be this fucking crazy. Could have gotten a boo-boo. No, for real, bouncy ball. You're so right. You're so right. Okay, hold on. Let me read these edits because they seem more like clarifications to what we just read than updates, and there are actually updates to this, so we'll get into that. Edit 1, it felt strange to me to name my baby Nessa because I did not know my mother. I wanted to honor her still. Nissa was a name they considered for me before meeting me and making their decision. Oh, she's talking about her parents. I was like, who is they? I chose it because I thought it was beautiful and a great way to honor her. Edit 2, since so many people asked, I don't want anyone to be... Edit 2, so many people asked and I don't want people to be confused. My mom was Jewish. I've seen a lot of Jewish hate and was nervous about publicizing that. Her family converted to Judaism at some point, maybe, possibly, according to my father. And eventually, she became a Christian because that's what my father was when they married. Also, thank you to everyone who makes... Okay, wait. I finally had enough and my husband slept in the bed last night. Why? Like, we could just not. We could just not. Yeah, my husband's been taking mommy's side, but I've just had enough. So we're just gonna let him, we're gonna take all the punishment off of his side now. Like, come on. He told me he really liked the name, but his mom wasn't going to let it go. So I decided to have his mom and... So I decided to have his mom and co for dinner tomorrow night. Does that mean the stepdad? What is CO? What? We'll see how that goes. Mom and company? That's what it means? Mom and company? Wait, hold on. So, like, instead of settling this privately without an audience, you're gonna invite the whole fucking family over? And, oh my God. Listen, chat, OP is for sure just surrounded with the most awful people, but I'm not gonna lie, OP is just like I'm almost like, it feels like OP is rage baiting me. Like, it's like, hey man, so we're doing all the wrong things. Getting married to a guy who you got pregnant with after a one-night stand, keeping the baby and not a boo-booing it. Like, Like letting your husband back in bed with you because you've finally had enough. And then now you're going to have a whole audience of family members there when you have this situation going on with not just your husband, but his fucking mommy. Like, I'm sorry, girl, do you want this situation to get worse? Like, are you trying to conjure up the worst possible ending for this story? Because like, hey, listen, I'm here for the drama, but like, you could look out for yourself, girl. Wouldn't she just get outnumbered? That's how I feel, bro. I feel like there's no way this plays out well for her. Also, it just makes it awkward, right? Yeah, man. I mean, shit, bro. Like, I wanna be like, and this is me assuming a lot of things about OP. OP's 32. Obviously, when you start getting into your 30s, like having kids usually becomes a little bit more, I don't know if urgent's the right way to put it, but like, you know, that's more towards the upper age of like what people are traditionally used to having kids at. So like, and maybe she really wants kids. So I want to be respectful of like, maybe she saw this as her opportunity to have a kid. But like, even if that's the case, she could have not married the guy. They could have continued to date and figure out this relationship, even with a kid in the equation. Like, I just don't understand what the rush to have a shotgun wedding was about. I guess maybe OP's super Christian if her mom was Christian and her dad was Christian. But once again, maybe Christianity puts people in shitty situations because Sky Daddy must have people married. Even though they've done everything else against Sky Daddy's wishes. Premarital sex. She got pregnant before they were married. Like, there's no way bro's like, oh, because you got married. Like, didn't see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, sorry. Oh, man. Fornication is okay, but you can't eliminate a clump of cells. No, for real. Isn't it a singular cell? I think I said a clump of cells one time and someone corrected me. I don't know. After 35 is geriatric pregnancy. Everything's good, just have to ask for forgiveness after. You're right, Cotton Girl, my bad. Some Christians think that immediately getting married absolves them of their sin. That's... Oh, man. Oh, brother. Oh, I think it's a clump because zygotes have fused together. I don't know, bro. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a YouTuber. Oh, that's insane. Chat, let's read some relevant comments. I'm curious. Where is this fucking going, bro? Okay. OP received majority, not the a-holes. No shocker there. We have some relevant comments. Commenter 1, if it's a slur or close to one, your husband should have flagged it well before now. Doesn't look like OP replied to any of the other questions that they had, so I'm not going to read them. OP replied to that saying, I told him it would mean a lot for me to name her Nissa, and he said he fell in love with the name too. Perhaps we should have just decided on one of the three names we had. Bro, why are you backtracking? This is where you double down. And this is where you tell your husband, hey, as my husband, you need to not give in to mommy. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of, like, you need to suss out your partner's relationship with their parents before you guys get married. Because, like, if you marry a guy who has a terrible relationship with his mom where he'll just always agree with his mom no matter what, you're kind of fucked. Like, you're just fucked, dog. OOP responds to a comment about her mother-in-law having a point on the name spelling and forcing her husband to accept names that he might not be comfortable with. This is dumb to me. This isn't okay. Well, hold on. Actually, wait. Let me read the comment here. OP, I just don't know anymore. I love the name, but I'm starting to feel like I forced him into something he didn't want. That's not true. If he didn't want it, he would have told you. He's never been the type to shut up and please, but considering I'd just given birth, maybe I'd been bitchy or pushy. Bro, don't do that shit. OP's doing that shit where she convinces herself, like, somehow I'm in the wrong. Which, by the way, red flag. Red flag. If your default is backtracking, apologizing, taking accountability for something, and not putting accountability on your partner, that probably means that there's something going on there in the relationship that is making you feel like that. Also, I'm sorry. Like, mother-in-law has a point about the name spelling. All right, then I need to get rid of any word ever that could be similar to any slur. All right, bag, unacceptable. One letter off of a slur. Flag, excuse me, an L between a slur, we must get rid of. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that is such a brain dead reason to be like, you can't say that. It kind of sounds like a slur. Like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, you're the most insufferable human being I've ever met in my entire life. Please leave. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, man. MAGA is just 2 letters off, for real. How dare you? Although, let's be honest, MAGA wouldn't have a problem with... MAGA would probably be like, we like our name because it does sound like a slur. No one automatically thinks this name is a slur unless you have some other issue going on. That's how I feel too, Emperor Chaos. Like, the only thing in my head is like, I think as a parent, you should do your due diligence of like, okay, if we name our kid this, is there like something here that we can proactively think of that other kids would bully them for? Like, that would be my concern, is like, hey, if we name our daughter Nissa, would that leave an opening for other people to bully our child by like comparing their name to a slur? Like, I think that's something to think about, but that's not what's going on here. Like, the mom is accusing OP of being racist just by naming her that, which is ridiculous. If the mom was like, hey, that's kind of close to the slur, don't you think the child's going to be bullied? I might entertain it. I still think it's stupid, but I might entertain it, right? Other than that, it's like, what are we talking about here? I'm surprised that's not the primary concern. Me too, Bouncy Ball. Commenter 3, why the hell didn't you just name your baby Nessa, for heaven's sake? Or I don't know, Nissi/Anissa? You're the a-hole. Telling a black woman she doesn't know a slur. You're the a-hole. Have some sympathy for your child instead of providing fodder for mockery during her entire childhood. You're the a-hole. Bro, who hurt this commenter? And why are they such a boner? Like, OP replied, Nissa is another Middle Eastern name. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure I've met people named Nissa. And when I met them, I wasn't like, haha, your name is close to a slur. I was just like, what up, Nissa? You're cool. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarby. Turn that into what kind of slur we turned Sarby into? Chat, I need y'all with slur privileges to turn my name into a slur. Ready, go. Sarbussy. That's not a slur. No more Nilla wafers. Oh my God, you're so right, Savannah. Anybody who enjoys Nilla wafers, you're racist. You only enjoy Nilla you only enjoy Nilla wafers because they're close to a slur. Sorry, we should just be a slur at this point. You know what? I don't disagree with that, actually. I don't disagree with that. Not Uwoobi. It's a great name. Nissa is another Middle Eastern name that's similar to my mom's name without copying it. I never got the chance to know her as a mom or person. I wanted to honor her, but it just didn't feel right to me to name her Nessa. Not to mention my name could have been Nissa, hence why I mentioned it to my husband. Also, can we just go back to the fact that the husband literally said to OP, it doesn't matter, you shouldn't want to name her that because you didn't even know your mom? Like, I'm sorry, that is fucking insane. That is insane. Hey, you can't name your child after your mom that you didn't know, who I'm guessing died, before you even got the chance to know her? Because you didn't. Haha, loser. Shape of an L on her forehead type shit. Like, what are we talking about? That's crazy. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Anybody who said you're the a-hole, you're an insufferable human being, and you deserve to have no friends. All right, let's go to the update. Okay, we just have an update, but hella relevant comments. I want to dive into this chat. I want to dive into it. What up, Althea? All right. Guys, if you're on the YouTube, make sure to like up the stream. We got 94 people watching, 60 likes. I know we can get those numbers up. All right. Make sure to like up the stream. If you guys are on Twitch, make sure to follow no matter where you're at, though. Turn on the post notice so you can be notified whenever I go live. All right, here we go. Update April 26, 2026, 8 days later. A lot happened at dinner, and I've been really feeling down since then. I wanted to see if there'd be anything else to update you guys on as well, but so far it's quiet, at least for the past week. I did invite my mother-in-law and father-in-law over for dinner. It did not go well. Shocker! I hope it was just the mother-in-law and father-in-law, though. At least that's better than company. It was tense from the start. It was tense from the start. I tried to calmly explain why I chose my daughter's name and what it means to me. I also asked her directly why she felt so strongly about it and tried to understand where she was coming from. But she didn't really give me a clear answer. She kept spouting something about how I'd made her son into a bad father? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know where this came from. And doubling down on some of the other stuff she already said. She even questioned my daughter's paternity again. Okay, so what's your fucking husband's reaction to this? Like, what are you talking about? At first, my husband was kind of agreeing with her, or at least not really pushing back, which made things worse. But then she said something really derogatory toward me, plus the bad parenting thing and paternity issue, and that's when things changed. My husband finally stepped in and told her she was out of line. I guess better late than never. After that, we asked them to leave early. They refused, and it turned into a huge fight. It escalated to the point where we had to call the cops. It somehow got even worse from there. She started yelling at the officers about how they should be dealing with me for terrorism. Police! She has a bomb! Yeah, a bomb name for her daughter. Oh my God, that's crazy. That. I think mother-in-law might be racist. You might be right, Bouncy Ball, honestly. She started yelling at the officers about how they should be dealing with me for terrorism, and she even assaulted one of them. They ended up taking her in, which led to a fight between me and John about how she wasn't going to take up any of her threats, even though he was the one who told me to call the cops, and he left. Bro, John is the most inconsistent motherfucker I have ever read about. Like, okay, first he's on your side, and then he's not, and then he is, and then he's not, and then he fucking says some crazy shit about your mother, and then he's on your side again. Like, what is bro doing? Pick a side. It's not that hard. What is John doing? He's making this harder by not just being like either at this point, dog, I don't care. Just be on your mom's side or be on your wife's side. Just pick one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. My father-in-law returned the next morning and offered to watch Nissa for me while I went and talked to John. He'd been nothing but neutral the entire time and had even been helping me the night before to get my mother-in-law out. Please do not leave your child with the husband of this crazy mother-in-law. Please tell me you're not going to do that. If I open my eyes and I don't read, I decided it was better to not give him my child. I'm going to lose my mind. Oh shit, even better. We ended up sitting down and talking, and he said he was going to divorce mother-in-law because she'd always been racially insensitive to his experiences and downright crazy to his adult children. And now there was no denying her ugliness with my situation, and he wished for me to tell John to suck it and divorce him too, or at least, I fuck with this guy. This guy's sick. Or to at least tell him to grow the fuck up and smell the fresh air. He would never grow up with my mother-in-law as involved as she was. Oh, sorry. He said John would never grow up with my mother-in-law as involved as she was. Y'all, my father-in-law told me until he and mother-in-law married, my husband slept in her bed. Time the what? Ew. Chat, this guy's older than OP. He's like 40 fucking years old. 40 male. I mean, I guess I don't know when him and mother-in-law got married, but oh my God. Oh my God, he was literally 29. Should have kept Redding. Redding? Chat, I don't want to look at chat. I don't need you guys to flame me right now. I'm flustered. This story's fucking crazy. I don't need to see it. I'm not looking at that negativity, bro. I'm not looking at that negativity. I'm not looking at chat. I know y'all talking shit. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. He was literally 29. He told me a lot more disturbing things I don't want to repeat. Ugh. Bro, when you marry, like, I'm so sorry, bro. I walk in, bro, I think I just met the love of my life. I walk in and I learned that her and her 29-year-old son sleep in the same bed. I'm out. I don't give a fuck, bro. She could be doing 720 no scopes on that shit. All right? And I'm out. I'm out. That is insane. Why the hell are you staying for that? That is crazy. Oh no. I ended up telling my father-in-law I wasn't prepared to talk to my husband. He said a lot of ugly things the night before, and I asked father-in-law to tell John he could pick up some clothes, but he'd have to stay with them or find a motel. The last I heard, father-in-law went to stay at the hotel. Mother-in-law was bailed out by John, and John and mother-in-law have been staying at their house. I've never felt so alone. The only thing I'm sure about is my baby girl's name, Nissa Rose, and probably my last name. Bro, whoever recommended this story just wanted to hurt me. Who was that? The Bean one? Thank you. Like, thank you for this story. You broke me, and I said reading instead of reading. Like, that was such an L chat. I feel like a third grader who's learning how to read for the first time. Oh, man. Oh my God. What, like, who are these people? Sorry, they included some relevant comment. I'm just getting rage baited by this. It's a downvoted commenter. They started off with mother-in-law may not have said it in a mother-in-law may have not said it in the kindest way, but she was right. Your child is going to be horribly teased in school with that name. I have to wonder why is giving your child a name that will humiliate them the hill you want to die on. Opie said it wasn't even, but she never gave me a legitimate reason for not liking it, just going in circles. If she is bullied, that'll be something I'll handle. But that's not even the reason she didn't like it. I just don't think it's that pretty. I mean, bro, I think if she gets bullied for it, you have more of a reason to, like, okay, if you have a name for your child and it's like a super duper weird name or something like that kids bully them for, like, I feel like that's something where you're like, okay, we need to avoid that. You know, like, don't give them like a fucking, I don't know. Like, don't give them a weird name that kids can bully them. That being said, Nissa, like, if kids are bullying her by like calling her the slur, we have a bigger issue on our hands, right? Like, this is an African-American kid anyways, right? So like, if that's the jump that they're making, they're doing a racism. And like, honestly, if a kid is going to jump to that or stoop, not jump, if that kid's going to stoop to that level, he would probably stoop to that level, or she. The kid would stoop to that level without the child's name being similar to a slur. You know what I'm saying, you guys? Like, I don't think it's that insane, you know? Oh, shit. We got 2 little raids. Strawberry Skates, thank you for the raid. Voice of the Lich, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. A little back to back. Thank you. Someone said that it sounds like your husband and his mother might have had some kind of weird sexual relationship. Opie said, I don't want to think about it. Opie said, I don't want to think it's that bad. Okay. Yeah, and then just a bunch of other commenters telling her she needs to leave, get a lawyer. Wow. What a fucking shit show. All right, chat. I thank you, the Bean one, for recommending this one. I think this just really further hammers it in for me that, like, you just can't rush marriage. You really can't. There's just no reason in my head to rush a marriage unless, like, maybe the world's gonna end and you want to die with your partner being your husband and or wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just really don't think we needed to get married. You sussed out nothing. You got pregnant with this guy and they got married to him. Like, I would recommend anybody, just from reading the story, if y'all are in the same situation, just wait. I'm not saying don't be with them. I'm not even saying don't have the kid. Me personally, I wouldn't have had the kid. But like, if you want to have the kid, all power to you. That's your choice. But that being said, don't get married to them. You don't have to. Contrary to popular belief, you can have a kid out of wedlock. And OP would be in a much better situation if that wasn't the case. Like, now there's going to be a whole ass custody battle over this kid. Well, actually, just kidding. I think there would actually be a custody battle regardless. I bought a house with my boyfriend before we got married. No, that's smart. I actually stand on that. I would just sign like you guys just have to lay out what would happen if you guys broke up. You know? But I actually think that's really smart. Like, I'll probably get a house with my girlfriend before we get married. I think that's smarter. I mean, to be honest, y'all, like, if my girlfriend is okay with just getting eloped one day, like, we're just gonna spend all of our fucking we're gonna spend like 10% of our wedding money on a sick vacation for ourselves, and then the other 90% on a down payment on a nice house. Oh, damn, Raya's back. What up, Raya? What's the point of marriage anyway, honestly, except maybe taxes? No, for real. Even then, like, the taxes can't be that good, you know? Married in Vegas by an Elvis impersonator. Honestly, that's the way to do it. The tax benefits aren't that great, to be honest. Okay, wait. Someone said that, and then Cottonmouth Queen said they are that good. Which one is? It probably depends on where you live, huh? What even are the tax benefits? I actually don't know this off the top of my head, chat. What are the tax benefits of being married? I'm going to put US, guys. Oh, we have a Reddit post. Hold on, chat. Perfect. The major benefit of marriage is income averaging. The tax on one $200,000 income is much higher than the tax on two $100,000 incomes. But the tax on a couple making $200,000 is the same as on two singles making $100,000, regardless of who earns it. If you make the same amount individually, there will be no difference once married. Oh. Okay. Wait. How is that, like, doesn't that even out? Sorry, I don't know tax stuff well enough to know. Should I call my tax guy? No, actually, I think my tax guy, it's the weekend. I shouldn't do that. That would be mean. That would be mean. The other benefit is practical. Once you're married, you're likely to own many things jointly, and separating your income can become extremely difficult. So it's much simpler to file a single joint return. The major drawbacks are rare, but include if someone currently itemizes, it will be much harder to itemize because the SALT cap does not double. I have no idea what the fuck that means. If both spouses make more than about $350,000, the effective brackets actually shrink, and your total tax will increase. This is called the marriage penalty, and it was substantially reduced in 2018, since it now only accelerates the 37% bracket over 35%. Okay, now we're getting into the minutia. If someone already has a child, the taxation for being married is generally higher than for one person as single and one person as head of household claiming tax benefits for children. This is because the intent of HOH and the benefit structure is to provide support for single parents, and the tax code is falling behind a society where people increasingly eschew marriage Eschew? What the fuck does eschew mean? Marriage despite living in monogamous relationships. Okay, so it sounds like it kind of depends. But like low key, sometimes it's not that helpful. You know? Oh, SALT is state and local taxes. Okay, I'm not going to go back to that post. My uncle is a CPA. My parents were divorced but owned property together. He would literally do their taxes like 3 different ways to see how the most money could be made. I mean, yeah, that's what a CPA is. That's what my guy does. He gives me lots of good recommendations. Your boy opened up a SEP IRA this year. Could I fully explain to you what a SEP IRA is? No. Did it allow for me to keep the government from taking more of my money? Yes. Yes, it did. Oh. It's only helpful specifically because of how the state has built the system around marriage. Chat, listen, I don't think we have all the time because I want to keep reading. I don't think I have all the time in the world to hop into this. I low-key have this theory that like religion. Whoa. Oh, Siri, stop. Siri, stop. That was so weird. So I have my iPad. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it like glowed. I have my little like boop, 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 boop. It glowed because I think it thought I said, hey, you know, the S word. But I have this theory that like religion was really just created to like control the masses. And I think marriage plays a part in that. Like if we weren't expected to marry people and be monogamous, I actually do kind of believe that things would get a lot messier because of the human condition. You know what I'm saying? It also further perpetuates the patriarchy because in a marriage, traditionally, the woman is supposed to be subservient to the man, which I want to clarify. I do not fuck with that. And that's why I'm bringing up, like, I genuinely think religion was made and implemented to control the masses. And then marriage was also put in there so that men could be on top. And also, I do think like if people were just running around like fucking with each other all the time and not like, ooh, I need to get married to one person, like it would kind of create strife because of humans naturally being jealous and shit. Soldiers were fodder and couldn't serve if married. Wouldn't you just not want to get married? Damn it, I don't have to go to war and die. Fuck. There's archaeological evidence of men and women both hunting in prehistory. Yeah, dude. Dude, okay, so you guys can't laugh at me, and we have to get back to the stories, but in RuneScape, there's a weapon, there's an atlatl, and I thought it was just some shit they made up, but then this video came up on my YouTube feed about, like, the history of the atlatl. It's like, and honestly, he showed you how to make one, and I was like, bro, I could fucking make this. Why am I getting overexposed? I was like, I could make something like this, like, so fucking easy. It's like this, like, long stick that you like connect to another long sharp stick, and like with the leverage behind it, you can fucking like fling this fucking arrow shit like really fucking fast. And it was just like a history about it, and it was like, honestly, the best hunters like that we found were usually women. I was like, yeah, that does not surprise me. Like some dumb man was like, the men were probably running in with spears like, I fucking got it, and then just got murked. Whereas the women were like, I'm going to hang back and fucking whip this addle-addle at this bitch, you know? OSR is mentioned. Bro, I love RuneScape. Last night, I'm not going to lie, chat. Last night, I kind of had a lazy day. I was going to try to stream at night, and then I got, like, kind of just like it started getting later, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to stream. But I finished Desert Treasure 1 last night, so I have the Freezy Magics. I have the... Sorry, you're only going to get that if you're a RuneScape player. You watching the All-Stars? Not really. I'm not into it like that. It's kind of like a slingshot. Yeah, but it's cooler. It's even cooler, bro. Dude, the Mormon pushing marriage is crazy. That shit is wild. Not axolotl, addle-addle. ATLATL. Catholic lore goes hard on occasion, not gonna lie. That's true. The Catholic lore be crazy sometimes, chat. Fuck, we're already 2 hours in. Chat, we gotta lock back in. I want to read a couple more stories, okay? All right. Okay. Chat, if you guys are on the YouTube, make sure to like up the stream. We got 93 people watching, 65 likes. Bro, I know we can get that shit up way higher. All right? We could get that shit to 80, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you guys aren't following, make sure to do so. All right? No matter where you're at, turn on the post notice so you can be notified whenever I go live. Okay. This is a personal story submission, specifically looking for advice from Marie 505. Nope, 5005. I, 14 female, need advice on how to handle my 41 male father. Oh no. I hope this one doesn't turn out like the one we read a couple streams ago, where it's kind of like, bro, you might have to just lock in. My parents had me unplanned after 2 months of dating. Oh God, what a rough start. When my mom was 21 and my dad was 26. My mom had no support system, so she just married him. Big mistake. He has really bad anger issues, and they would always argue constantly. They had my brother and got married, and their relationship didn't get better, it got worse. Right before they separated, I was in 3rd grade, and I remember my mom would come into my room and sleep in my bed at night. When she thought I was asleep, even though I wasn't, I would hear her cry. Oh shit. When she thought I was asleep, even though I wasn't, I would hear her cry herself to sleep every night. Eventually they got separated and my mom, brother, and I moved states. My brother and I would go visit my dad for every other holiday and go on trips with him over the summer. I was still really young and didn't understand how terrible of a person he truly was until he moved to our state. My dad ended up moving to our state when I was in 7th grade, and it has ruined my life. Living with him truly just showed me what a terrible person he truly is and why my mom divorced him. He is racist, homophobic, sexist, Republican, and bad with money. Oh my God. Bro is checking every box on the bad person list. Like, oh my God. He literally hit every wrong mark he could. A few things he has done throughout the 3-ish years he has lived here are say untrue things about my mom to me and my brother, saying she cheated even though she didn't, etc. Make inappropriate comments towards women's bodies, told one of his girlfriends she was too fat and needed to lose weight, make hateful comments towards people of the LGBTQIA plus community, yell at me in a public place because he found out my crush was black, says the N-word and calls people the N-word, hates on everyone who isn't a white man, voted for Trump, makes fun of me for being pale and calls me Pumpkinhead and says my head is really big. I mean, don't get me wrong, all this shit is bad, but this is just like outwardly bad person. Like, this is just your dad's a fucking bad father. Like, oh my God, bro, lift your kids up, not pull them down, you fucking idiot. I have a whole list somewhere that I currently can't find. I'd also like to mention that he finds roommates off Facebook Marketplace. Oh no. Doesn't do background checks or anything, just goes off the fact that he's good at reading people. One roommate was weird as hell and one day disappeared and left all of his stuff, and my dad wouldn't tell me what happened to him, but he was a creepy guy, so I had assumed something not so great. I also don't have a lock on my door, and my room is right next to the room that all of our roommates have had. Another thing, my 12-year-old brother doesn't have his own room or bed. He just shares with my dad. Anyways, I cry every time I think about having to stay at his house, and I truly don't know what to do. I asked my mom to file for full custody of me, but apparently even if she did, I'd have to go to his house one day a week anyway. I mean, that's definitely better than nothing. Or excuse me, sorry, I should say that's better than not doing anything. One day a week is better than multiple days a week. Damn, which could make my situation worse? Chat, why is that? Just because he's mad that he doesn't get more time with his kids? My mom also can't currently afford a lawyer, so I'm currently stuck and I don't know what to do. I'm just so sick of having to deal with him, but I'm too scared to stand up for myself. I also don't know if it's the right move to stand up for yourself. Because, like, that's the hard part, right, chat? Like, if you're a kid who lives underneath your parents' roof, and especially if your parent has already proven that they're not a safe person to be around, calling them out on not being a safe person isn't going to help the situation. It's going to make it worse. Like, there's no world where you go to this guy and you're like, hey, man, living with you sucks. You're putting me in danger and you're a bad person. And bro goes, yeah, dude, you're right. My bad. I'll change that. So that's the hard part. I think your best bet is keep pressing your mom. But it is hard when she can't afford a lawyer who can help her get that full custody. I also don't think I'm savvy enough to know what you mean by make my situation worse, unless you just mean that, like, he's going to react to you not wanting to hang out with him. Yeah, Bouncy Ball, I fear this is another lock-in one. Unfortunately, I do think, like, I want to acknowledge, like, I wish there was a better answer for children like this who, like, the answer shouldn't be lock in and try to graduate early. But, like, that's unfortunately all we can really come to, you know, is like, this is not a safe person. Your best bet is just getting out from under their thumb as fast as possible. And, like, maybe that's something you talk about with your mom. It sounds like your mom's relatively supportive of, like, hey, listen, if you can't get me out of this unsafe situation, then I need to lock in and get myself out of this unsafe situation, and I need your help to do that. And that would just be like if I were you, I would be trying to stay out of this house. Like, when you're with your dad, schedule all the activities that you can. After school clubs, extra classes, sports, anything that you can to make it so that you don't spend any time with your dad. You know? Also, shit, bro, I would, like, I don't know what if you have any source of getting money or if you have, like, an Amazon account that you can order from, I would get one of those door stoppers. Do you know what I'm talking about? They're like, I recommend any woman living alone to get one of these. What are they called? Like door jammer lock or whatever. Not that. Where is it? It's like, oh, it's one of these. Door security. One of these bad boys. Hold on. How do I get one of these? I think this is what you should do, low-key. Like, if your dad's not going to provide a lock for you and there's strangers living in his house. Chad, do you know, because I saw a couple of you guys recommending to go to CPS, but I just genuinely don't know if you're like, hey, CPS, my dad lets a lot of random people that I deem sketchy live with us, and it makes me feel unsafe. Will CPS actually do anything about that? I have a door brace and they're awesome. Yeah, that's what I would recommend, man. Oh my God, Judas Love. I had a friend in a similar situation once. Her and her mom staged her as a runaway and sent her to her aunt in a different state. The cops didn't care enough to really figure out what was going on, but her dad was like physically abusive and the courts wouldn't do anything. I mean, I hope the dad hasn't gotten to that point yet, but honestly, and listen, this is just me not thinking the best of the dad. I would have someone check in on that 12-year-old, bro. I just think like that's so weird. Like no 12-year-old. I don't know, man. It's definitely worth getting on the record with CPS. Ooh, Strawberry, you might be cooking, actually. Get on their radar of like, hey, this guy is terribly unsafe. Chat, is there an argument for CPS? Like, if you don't have enough rooms for your kids, well, I don't know. Maybe it would, maybe not. I don't even know, bro. This is such a sketchy situation. Yeah, why aren't the kids sharing a room? That's kind of how I feel. Like, I would share a room with my sisters before I shared a room with fucking my dad. Yeah, bro. Hold on. Guys, there are a couple comments on this. Let me see if they're actually... Oh. 50-50 custody with the mom. Okay, someone mentioning that, like, maybe the courts will consider the child's wishes, but OP says that the courts don't seem to care. Typical. Okay, what did this comment say? This is the most upvoted. I have a couple ideas, but I'm from England, so you'll have to excuse me for not knowing the law specifically in your country. I think you need to communicate all this to a trusted adult. If your mom can't help, do you have another adult family member that you can trust, or maybe an adult at school? Schools are legally bound to safeguard you from abuse. Yeah, it's just more if like the things that are supposed to enforce it are going to do anything, or if they'd even deem this as abuse, right? Like, I mean, you guys were saying it in chat. Like, CPS has come from like reports of family members doing some awful, awful shit and just walked away from it. The situation isn't safe with your dad's roommates, and it could count as a form of neglect if he isn't making changes to keep you safe. I also want to ask what your brother feels when he's there. Do you go together? Could you perhaps both talk to someone? My brother likes going to his house and gets treated nicer because he's a boy, so he doesn't want to leave. I'm asking my mom when she gets the money to talk to a lawyer and I can give a judge my statement or something. Okay, I mean, I guess that's good. Probably means nothing weird, or at least we hope, is just happening with the brother. Although that kid's probably being fucking groomed to being an awful piece of shit just like the dad is, so that's not good. Yeah, man, don't get me wrong, I still think you should really press your mom, because like I said, I mean, I understand and I empathize with your mom's bad situation. At the end of the day, though, it is her responsibility to do whatever is necessary to help her kid feel safe, you know? So like, I mean, I don't know her life like that, but if her child is coming to her and being like, I need you to do something about me not having to go over to my dad's, like, I do think that should be on the mom to help solve that. So like, I don't know if you should give up on that front, but at the same time, like, I'm a big advocate, no matter who you are, what situation you're in, you can't rely on other people to come save you. And unfortunately, as a kid, like, I do think it's what we were talking about before, where it's like maybe the best thing for you to do here, because like, no matter what, you're going to have to live with your family, or excuse me, no matter what, you're going to have to live with your parents, unless you do have like an aunt or grandparents or like some family members that you can go live with instead, and that your parents like approve. Other than that, I think the best move is like figure out how to get out there early, you know? Which is a terrible thing to have to tell a kid, but like truly, if your mom's not doing anything, if your dad's a bad person and you're getting put in dangerous situations, being there, how old are you? 14? Being there for 4 years is much more dangerous than you being there for 2 or 3 more years, you know? And like, that sucks that that's the only advice that we can really give here, unless your mom is willing to take action. Yeah, that's true. Dad might even be okay with OP leaving his care. I feel like there's a way for the mom to go up to the dad and come up with, like, to me, if I'm the mom, I'm coming up with an elaborate lie to tell the dad, because it sounds like the dad favors the 12-year-old anyways. I feel like there's a play here where you can be like, hey, so daughter has been having more of this activity, which makes more sense for me to take her to or to like supervise. And like your son, who is probably the favorite, let's be honest, your son is living in the same room with you. Would you be down to let me have OP full time and we'll just do like lunches, dinners, whatever. And then your 12-year-old son can have a room in that house, you know? I think there might be some sort of play there. I don't know. I don't know if that is, you know, I don't really know. Like, as someone without kids, like, I can't, you know, look at this at all from all angles, but I think that's your best bet. I don't think emancipation would work, Flower Bite. I mean, once again, Kittenmans, I don't think if you call CPS and you're like, hey, this guy favors one kid over the other, like, I don't think CPS is going to take that seriously. You know? I just really don't. That's crazy, by the way, that like he just moved to the same state and then got custody of the kids too. Like, that's so ass. They stop enforcing custody at 16. If she gets an old, cheap car and a job, and the courts can't stop her from driving back to her mom's house. Those are some great comms, actually, Death Pants. Wait. That actually might be the move. Hold on. Okay, wait. I don't know what. I think there is an argument if OP, like, I don't know if OP could legally get a job. Like, what is the rule, chat? Can you get a job? Like, I want to say I had like a job when I was 14, but it was just like, you know, like something kind of informal, whatever. Like, if you can legally get a job or start an activity that's closer to your mom's house, I think there is an argument that your mom could play, which is like, hey, it's inconvenient for you to have to drive back and forth. You know, if OP just stayed with me full time, your son gets his own room. Like, I feel like there's a way to pitch it where it's a win-win-win for everyone. You know what I'm saying? "14-year-olds can babysit." Oh my God, Resilient Sage. Like, good comms. I think that's the best move. And that also solves a little bit of a problem for OP. Like, it sounds like if OP had some money, they would be able to like put themselves ahead in some way, shape, or form, right? Like if I'm OP, or excuse me, if I'm giving advice to OP in person, I'm like, hey, as soon as you can get a job, start earning some money and start becoming financially literate on like how, because it doesn't sound like, you know, the mom and dad are going to give her a leg up going to college. Maybe she gets good grades, maybe she doesn't. Like I think there's probably a lot of planning here that a 14-year-old shouldn't have to do, but like unfortunately it sounds like your parents put you in a very bad situation, and that's just what you might have to do. In some states, you might be able to get a job at 14, but you may need written parental permission. I mean, you could just get permission from one of the parents, right? It doesn't need to be both. Yeah, I think McDonald's hires people at 14. Yeah, I think that's the move. I think that's the move. I think either way, you might get extra money for a lawyer. I think if it's right next to your mom's house, there is an argument for like, especially if your dad like has to drive you there multiple times, like, hey, instead of driving your daughter here and inconveniencing your life, like let the daughter stay here. I think that's the move. I think that's probably the move there. Wild, bro. Damn, bro. Just some evil parents out here, man. Holy shit. Awooga. Oh, yeah. She needs to stash the money at the mom's. No, for real. I mean, that's a given. That is a given. Open up a bank account only through your mom. Only your mom can access it. Put all the money in there. Oh, yeah. She gets a job now. She can start saving for a car. Good point, Ginger. God, bro, that just sucks. Like, that is not anything a 14-year-old should have to worry about. Ugh, just some stupid fucking parents out there, man. Just some stupid fucking parents, bro. Okay, chat. Sorry to end this stream on a downer. Although a lot of these stories kind of were downers. I want to read one more. Chat, I wanna hit one more story here before the end of stream. I gotta hop off. Hopefully in 20 minutes. I gotta get a run in. And then I do kind of want to lock in and finish up I might do that in the morning, low key. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't finished up the video for tomorrow, but I might just wake up early and finish it. That might be a lot faster and make more sense. That might make more sense. But before that happens, chat, let me finish this up. Wait, really quick. Chaos Reigns, I forgot to thank you for the gifted subs. Bouncy Ball, I know you said thank you because you have good manners, but whoever got the community sub, make sure to say thank you. All right, chat? Good manners and good manners only. If you guys are on the YouTube, make sure to like up the stream. Thank you guys for 70 likes. I know we could get that shit up. We got 87 people in here watching. Would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, chat, here we go. Submitted by Nana is always bored. Stepdaughter almost drowned in my pool and her mom and others are blaming me. Am I the a-hole? Originally posted to r/am I the a-hole, but this is a best of Redditor updates post, so we do have some updates here. Originally posted June 8th, 2025. Another fresh one. Holy shit. Saturday night, I came back home around 6 p.m. and my husband called me saying that he was supposed to pick up his daughter, 5, from her mom's, and that he's stuck at work, so her mom would drop her off at our place. Oh, okay. I said, okay, and I was watching TV and expected them to arrive soon. Around 8 p.m., my dog started barking and jumping at the window, and when I went to see what's going on, I noticed the pool water was wavy. I went outside and saw the little girl in the water, and she was unconscious. I pulled her out, and she wasn't breathing. I called the ambulance while trying to revive her. I called the ambulance while trying to revive her. The ambulance arrived within 10 minutes, and I genuinely thought she drowned, but thankfully they managed to save her. She is completely okay now. The thing is, I had no idea that her mom had already dropped her off. She didn't knock or anything, so she probably just left her in front of the house. Holy fucking negligence? Her mom also came when she found out, and she was trying to blame me, telling me I tried to murder her daughter. I already told my husband that they didn't knock or enter the house, and I had no idea the girl was even there. Everything became even more messy. Basically, the woman kept on yelling at me, telling me how she's going to fight me, and things like how she's going to hold me underwater so I see how that feels. First of all, if it wasn't for my dog barking at the window, I would have no idea the girl was in the pool and she would have drowned because I had no fucking idea that the moron dropped her off in front of the house without even knocking or anything. I said this and she spit at me. The police ended up holding her back, and then my husband came back too, and it was just so shitty. I mean, that's assault. The police should be doing way more than just holding her back. After this, I got calls from her parents, and they also tried to threaten me on the phone, but I just shut them down. A couple other people who said, a couple other people who she had told her version of this called me, and yeah, they said the same thing. I know, or at least feel like it's not my fault, but at this point I want to clarify more. I forgot to say that I do have a fence around the house. Oh, I'm guessing this is an edit. Okay, so edit, I know, or at least feel like it's not my fault, but at this point I want to clarify more. I forgot to say that I do have a fence around the house in the backyard, and it's usually locked, but that day it wasn't, which I know is my fault. Also, I said this is my house. This was the first time the girl was here, so I have no idea why would her mom just drop her off in front of a house she's never been to, and no idea why did, and I have no idea why the girl went to. Okay. And I have no idea why the girl went for the pool when she couldn't have seen it from the street. Like, I don't know, why did she go to the backyard? I'm not blaming her. I'm just explaining. Also, my country doesn't have a law for fence directly around the pool. There's usually a cover, but I wanted the water to get warmer. I don't live here, but I'm currently renovating. Am I the a-hole as no consensus bot? Oh, P received mixed reactions. What? Yeah, you guys are saying it in chat. I need cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Is it probably irresponsible to leave the fence open to your backyard to a pool that doesn't have a fence around it? I guess there's like slightly an argument to that, but like what? Are you just supposed to operate at all points in time that there's going to be a 6-year-old irresponsibly dropped off at the front of the house, not taken care of by a parent to make sure that they get into the house, and like, you know, just expect that at all times you're at the risk of a 6-year-old falling into your pool and drowning? Like, no, I think that's really stupid. I think, and this is why I'm such an advocate for some sort of camera at the front of your house. I'm hoping and praying OP has some sort of camera that caught all this. Like, caught the mother dropping her child off and not like walking the child to the door. Like, knock, even just if you do drop the child off, like, wait till they're in the house to drive off. Like, bro, I've done less, or like, bro, I've done more for my friends. When I drop a friend off at their house, I wait till they walk in their house before I drive off. This is your fucking spawn. This is your cum souvenir, bro. Do you want it to die? Dropping it off in the front yard is insane. Yeah, you guys are saying it. It's totally on the mom. Oh, the mom should be thanking OP for fucking saving the kid. And the mom should be getting charged for assault. Maybe honk. I mean, even honking is disrespectful. Yeah, you're right, Mbem. The mom should be charged with neglect for leaving the kid on the porch, right? That's how I feel. Like, she already admitted she left the kid unattended in the front of a yard. Like, the kid could have wandered in the street and got hit by a car. Like, insane. I'm curious too. What is the husband saying? We did not hear anything about the husband. This husband better be backing you the fuck up, bro. Oh, we actually did get, so a couple relevant comments here, chat. This one, a commenter said, not the a-hole, you don't. Commenter asked whether the husband is backing him up. Sorry. Commenter asked if the husband is backing OP up. OP said he is. Okay, thank God. Isn't it mandatory to have a pool fence in OP's area? Technically, in my country, there's no laws that says you have to have a fence around the pool. I mean, bro, I grew up in Arizona, and Arizona doesn't have any laws like that, and there are hella pools. Bro, this is insane. This is insane that people are actually finding a way to back up the mother. This commenter said, a 5-year-old lives at your house, but can access the pool if they're dropped off in front of the house. OP said, she doesn't live here. Another commenter said, so if y'all don't live there, how would the mother, whom you've called a moron, know there's a pool in the back? Like, bro, what are you fucking talking about? Like, if the mother had just walked the kid up to the door, knocked on the door, made sure their whole ass fucking child, who, if you have a kid, your only goal should be to make sure child survive. Like, that is the most optimal way to make sure child survive. You make sure it gets into the house where it's supposed to be dropped off. If you just drop it off in the front of the yard at, what was it, 5 years old? 5 years fucking old? Like, you are actually, like, you shouldn't have kids. You're a brain dead human being, and I stand on that. If you're in the comments defending this woman, you are also brain dead. If you're trying to justify what this mother did, I actually don't think you should be having kids. I think you should be sterilized. OP replied to that saying she doesn't have to know there's a pool. The same way that girl went in the backyard, she could have wandered away from the house and ended up somewhere else. Gotten hit by a car in the street, like I said. The mom knew about the pool, though. Like, not only are you fucking annoying and stupid for trying to defend her, but what you said is irrelevant. Oh my God. Downvoted commenter. Why is your stepchild being dropped off at your house without her mother, aka the woman, talking to you to let you know they were coming or that they were there? Weird. Not your fault, but I still think that the lack of communication is weird. You keep referring to her as the girl, like you're detached from the idea that she's actually your stepdaughter and a part of your family. You're also so blasé about the fence thing, despite knowing she's 5, and drowning is one of the most common deaths for children. I'm getting weird, possibly fake vibes from this post. Everyone sucks here except for the girl. This is such a, I can't believe people like this are actually existing and, like, have the ability to vote like you and I do, bro. Like, you, holy fucking Trump supporter logic. Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever read. Just like the dumbest shit. Opie said, I don't know why her mother didn't wait for her to enter. I started referring to her as the girl because it's shorter to write. She doesn't live here, and this pool has been here for more than 20 years. It's perfectly legal. I never thought anything of it. OP lives in Germany. Holy fucking bad commenters. Like, I'm sorry, bro. If you read this post and you're like, yeah, OP was clearly in the wrong, you should not ever give any of your opinions ever for the rest of your life, and I stand on that. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I think the only note that I have is like, hey, probably the right move to now get a fence, you know? Like, especially too, it doesn't sound like the kid comes here often, but like, I would definitely say if you are having kids at your house pretty frequently and you have a pool without a fence on it, you should probably just do your due diligence and get a fence around that pool. Me personally. Other than that, and that's like, we don't even know how much this daughter comes over, you know? It doesn't sound like she lives there. It doesn't sound like she spends a lot of time there. It was like she just had to be dropped off there for one reason or another. Kitten Mittens, the yard has a fence. So like the entrance to the backyard, there was a fence, but there's not a fence around the pool. That's different. If you have a kid, you should have a fence around your pool that is like safeguarded from kids being able to open it themselves. Me personally. She said that was the first time the kid ever went over. That's also important too, Marley. That's crazy. I can't believe some people sided with that bitch. What the hell? Chat, we do have an update on this. I kind of want to rock it. Let's see it. This is pretty easy, not the a-hole. Update comes June 9th, 2025, the next day. I won't fully go into details, but my husband talked to his daughter. I still haven't spoken to her or seen her since, and he asked her what happened. So they arrived to the back of the house and not actually to the front because they thought that was the front, which is fine. Still, the mom did just drop her off and drove away, thinking she's going to knock on the door and come inside. Okay, first off, what the fuck is the layout of this house? Second, that's even worse. The mother knew the pool was there, probably could see the pool, and still went, I'm just gonna let my kid fucking 5-year-old, she knows what she's doing. Surely that kid will not die and find their way inside of the house. I've done my due diligence as a parent. Come on, bro. Come on. Thankfully, the neighbor's camera actually caught one side of the car, and it very obviously shows that the car stopped for not more than 30 seconds. And since it caught the driver's side, it's visible that the driver, the mom, didn't exit the car and drove away. So the girl said that she was going to knock on the door, but she saw a frog in the grass by the pool and wanted to pick it up and bring it inside. Gate for the backyard was open, and she went inside. Frog was running away from her and fell in the pool. She tried to reach for the frog and it fell inside. She tried to reach for the frog and fell inside the pool. Even though what happened was horrible, thankfully she is okay now and it didn't cause any serious damage. I already said in my previous post that the gate was unlocked, but even worse, she walked in through the other side, which was completely open. Thankfully, Wait, so it doesn't even matter that the gate was unlocked because the fence doesn't completely encompass your entire backyard? Then that doesn't even matter. I'm sorry. I'm getting caught up on minutia. Like, even if you had locked the gate, why is the gate there? There's an opening. Like, who the fuck are you keeping out? Thankfully, the pool wasn't covered because if she stepped on the cover, it would have literally trapped her inside. I feel really bad for what happened, knowing that part of leaving the gate open was my fault, but at least the worst outcome didn't happen. I won't share any more about anything related to the situation with the mom and the police. I mean, the police should be charging the mom for negligence, right? I mean, that's crazy, bro. Like, you just have to not care about your child enough to literally drop it off and make sure that and not make sure that it doesn't get to its location safely. Like, listen, that's why when y'all are coming in here like, oh yeah, kids are smart, kids will figure it out. Like, I just don't really believe in that when they're that young. It's like, listen, they might be smart, they might be able to figure it out. But like, I think operating under the assumption that kids are just dumb little idiot babies that need to be led to safety, led in certain ways, is just better all around, because like, even if you're wrong, it's still the safer thing to do. And I think this is one of the examples where it's like, it sounds like the kid might have been smart enough to like walk up to the door and knock on it themselves, but like, why take that risk? It's literally so ungodly pointless to like take that risk when you could just be like, all right, let me hold your hand, knock on the door. Okay, you're in the house. Hey, maybe since I see this pool, let me give a reminder that the kid shouldn't be anywhere near the pool. Like, I don't know. Crazy, man. Okay, we do have a couple of relevant comments here. I'm not going to read that part, but OP does clarify the mom doesn't really interact with me. If I text her something about her daughter, she just leaves me on scene and answers through my husband. I guess she didn't want to see me or whatever, but I don't really understand how she can willingly leave her kid with someone she doesn't even want to interact with. I mean, that's just such an unhealthy relationship. Like, y'all have a daughter and you can't even like text back the woman who is married to the father of this child. Like, I don't know. I understand bad blood, but it's like, bro, you guys have a kid together. You got to figure out a way to get over it. Okay, this comment's not really important to read. Oh, God. It concerns me that people like this can procreate, man. It's just like, oh, I just hope some sort of legal action is being taken, because that is just all the mother-in-law, or excuse me, that is just all the mother's fault. Not even her fault, but then when it times to take accountability for your shitty actions, you blame it on somebody else whose fault it clearly wasn't. Yeah, bro, absolutely not. I don't know if I'd be a hover mother, but I'd be anxious as fuck. No, I don't blame you, Resilient Sage. I think I'd have to fight helicopter parent tendencies while also remembering like over parenting your kid, I think is better than under parenting your kid.